Alright fellas, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough on my Rd1 Cr-v. There's lots of talk about how do you mount things, where you place certain items like CB radios and etc. So I'm just going to show you guys how I did mine. Um, Up front, you got a trans cooler, just mount it in the front. Bought it off of Amazon, nothing crazy. It has a fan and a thermal switch, so it knows when to kick on when it's too hot. So that's pretty cool. Next up, I'm gonna move over to my Yakima roof basket. Sorry about the sun, us West Coasters. But you see my light bar mounted to my basket, just bolted on there. The power cord runs through the antenna hole on the basket, or on the CR-V. I've deleted the stock antenna hole, or antenna that is, and went to the XM radio, that little black box right there. Because the XM radio follows you everywhere. I'm okay with paying for a monthly subscription. Plus, I use it like people use Spotify. Now that Pandora bought them, it's a better option as well. Up top, I still have these brackets right here. One, and then two in the rear. These are for my solar shower. Solar shower that goes on there holds 4 gallons of water. Nothing crazy. The brackets are actually mounts for a dish, satellite dish from AT&T. It already had a bar mount because they mount to a pole, so they were pretty easily had, and I get them for free. In the back here, I have my magnetic antenna, so you can remove your CB radio when you're not using it. To even make it even better, when you got places to go, you can quickly just take off the actual antenna. The benefit to doing this is the higher the antenna, the clearer the signal, the further the range. So get your antennas up, boys. I just ran the wire to the antenna through the CR-V, so it's easily removed when not in use. Goes down. I'm using a paper clip to hold it into place off of the rear seat belt, and then it drops down through the seat, goes underneath the carpet, and shoots back out near the amp and where I mount the CB radio. In the back, I also have a bunch of shit that I usually carry. This is my work stuff, but it kind of looks the same. I would have a tote like that full of camping supplies, usually sleeping bags and other stuff over here on the side, maybe a toolkit or something like that. This is my iceless cooler. It fits a ton of shit in it. Just to give you an idea, that is a full 24 case of beer, and I still got a bit of room for other things. So depending on how much of an alcoholic you are, you should be fine. I don't supply drinks for other people. When I go on a trip, it's every man for themselves. So usually for me, my wife, and my son, this is more than plenty. I have more than enough room for beer, soda, food, and things of that nature for us. It just plugs into the 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet in the back of your CR-V. Behind that, I would usually keep a bucket. In this case, that has work supplies like water hoses and stuff that I use for my maintenance job. But I usually carry a bucket similar to that is my poop bucket. So it's an easy toilet when out in the woods. To move forward, I keep the CB radio up front, up here in the middle, right in between the center console. It doesn't take up any room this way. That's kind of a dead space anyway in most of the CR-Vs, especially us automatic guys. Nothing crazy there, just a regular old basic CB radio. The one thing I will be doing in the future is running a straight bar that connects from this seat over to the passenger seat, so that I can mount the bottom of this to it, and it will be more stable than just floating around in the CR-V. But as it is, it doesn't really move anywhere. So for right now, I'll move to the power source. Basically, I have the switch panel. I'm still waiting on some specialty connectors to come in to connect this guy up, but it runs right into the switch panel, into the cigarette lighter port. I will be hard wiring the CB radio to a secondary fuse panel, which I'll show you here in a couple seconds. But this volt meter here reads off of the second battery when hooked up for solar and things of that nature. So I can kind of keep an eye on my secondary battery because the factory one already has one, or I carry this little guy here, another multi-switch in the tray table that also reads voltage here, so I can keep an eye on both batteries when out and exploring. It also gives a second port for people that need to hook up something like that. You never know. So I also run my solar charger up here. This is why I'm waiting on special connectors for this guy, so that I can finish running the power through a hole that I've cut in my light switch, which I'll be running the power through a hole that I've pre-drilled in there, straight across the headliner, right into the solar charger, and then everything else goes from the solar charger down to underneath the hood where the secondary battery and fuse panel is. Up here in the kick panel for the ECU, I keep one of these power cords. This hooks up for secondary items such as my power inverter or other random miscellaneous items that I might plug up. I also keep a backup in case something goes wrong. I can always plug up a secondary little jumper to plug in things as well. Makes it easy to move the power inverter to the front or back of the car. I do plan on making a hard wire connection in the back for that and make it better suited anyway. So let's see, up here or in the back, I keep my power inverter under the seat. Once again, reason why I use these quick connects that you find on battery tenders is it makes it easy to disconnect it, cap it off, and hide items when you don't need them. They take up less space and they're less visible. Living in California, your shit will get stolen if people can see it, so the more things you can take off or hide, the better. Up here up front, I have gone ahead and installed a secondary fuse panel. This runs all my accessory items in it. Things like the transcooler circuit, my HIDs, light bar, power inverter, that switch panel, so on and so forth, all come to this guy here. It's got 12 blades in it, and it also has a ground bar. If you open it up, you can see the ground bar on top. This is channel A, and below the little fuse puller is channel B. You can see that on the cover as well. This way, it's 6 and 6. This is for this first battery or main battery. This usually goes to the secondary battery. Like I said, I'm waiting on a few more connectors, but this would be set up to the solar panel and all those things. This way you're not tapping any power from your main battery and not draining it any faster than you need to, and then you don't have to worry about frying factory stuff if your solar panel or something has an overload problem. As far as running wires gone, I just used the little boot down there back behind the battery tray to run the one power wire for the amp. Other than that, everything goes to the fuse panel and everything runs through the car into this. So I mean, pretty much that's what I got going on. Just showing you guys what I have. The only thing missing in my circuit right now is an ARC. It's a little switch that connects both batteries, so when you start the car, they don't short anything out. It's a big thing to be looking out for when running dual batteries, so keep that in mind. But other than that, that's about it. I'll probably get rid of the stock intake or get a Type R intake, because the Type Rs have this cut off, so that will make room for the secondary battery, and you can kind of keep some of the stock air box for smog and those type of people have to worry about that here in California. Or I'll place the secondary battery down in the bumper somewhere, but who knows, with these wide ass tires it's probably safer just to mount it up top. Alright guys, that's my walkthrough. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.